Fall leaves, muddy trails, and damp, thick brush attract little bugs that create a big nuisance. They are ticks. And these days, they're more prevalent in northern New York and eastern Ontario. Deer ticks can carry Lyme disease, and for many folks, the disease is detrimental. But for one Canadian biologist, he and a team of researchers found a way to determine the danger right in the field. WPBS producer Eric Cleary has more.
Over the past 20 years, there has been an increase in tick population across the U.S. and Canada, and the diseases they can transmit have also become more prevalent, with Lyme disease being the most commonly known tick-borne illness. To better understand how to prevent tick bites, Suguyas of Cornell Cooperative Extension explains what ticks look like and where to find them.
A description of a tick would be it's very small. They're kind of a teardrop shape. They have several life stages. They start out as an egg, they go to a larval stage, then nymph stages, which are immature, and then the adult stage. The larvae are probably about the size of a grain of sand. The nymphs are probably the size of a poppy seed. And the adult is probably the size of a sesame seed. Now, when they're feeding and they're engorged and they swell up, they can be as big as a raisin. The deer tick in particular has black legs. It's also known as the black-legged tick.
Initially, ticks that latch onto a host are very small and hardly noticeable. But what happens once they begin to feed on a host?
Once it's been on your skin and feeding for a number of hours, it will enlarge and become engorged. And at that point, before it's done feeding, it may get as big as the size of a raisin.
To remove the raisin-sized arachnid, hikers need to be diligent and move quickly to avoid potential Lyme disease.
How do you remove a tick? The best way is to have a tick removal kit, and you can get those almost anywhere. But the key is that you want to get extremely close to the skin and pop that tick out. You don't want to break the head of the tick off because that can lead to future infection. So you want to get very close to the skin and pop that tick out and then save the tick, because you may want to get it identified, you may want to have it tested for Lyme disease, or your doctor may want to see it. Ticks acquire Lyme disease by feeding on rodents, mice, any small mammal. So it can be chipmunks, it can be foxes, even birds can harbor ticks.
Because Lyme disease can be detrimental to some, determining whether or not the tick carries the disease is crucial. Suguyas advises an immediate urgent care visit. Meantime, on the other side of the border, researchers are trying to determine how to detect the disease faster.
So this is a portable sequencer. It's made by Oxford Nanopore, and it's got a little device here where you can load your sample, and then it's just like a computer interface. It's got a screen, it has internet connectivity, and it can actually in real time sequence the DNA that's extracted from the ticks.
In layman's terms, this small device can take a tick's blood sample and determine the danger on the spot. And as research continues, this device just may find its way into urgent care rooms.
The idea is to have a device that we can use in a variety of settings. So it could be a doctor's office, and they're interested in what microbes might be in the tick that the patient has been exposed to, or it could be sampling in the field where we want to monitor different pathogens. Ticks were not a problem 20 years ago, and really over the last 10 years we've seen this rapid increase in Lyme disease cases. So this is a pretty recent phenomenon. It's something we're all getting used to living with, and every year there's new parts of Canada that did not previously have Lyme disease that where now patients are being diagnosed with it.
If you want to avoid ticks altogether, protection is key.
First of all, wear long pants, long sleeve shirt, tuck your shirt into your pants. If you are hiking, stay on the trails. Don't go off the trails into brushy areas. It's a good idea to spray your pants and spray your clothing with a tick repellent, something that contains DEET, and there are a lot of them out there on the market.
Suguyas also recommends pets be treated with flea and tick repellent before hitting the trails. In Watertown, I'm Eric Cleary for WPBS Weekly.